Your boy Stingray Cool here. Your boy Stingray Cool back in the building for you. We talk about the man, the myth, the legend, my man Frank Miller. After this intro, let's go. After these two intros. Yeah, boy, we talk about Frank Miller, the dude. Here we go. Hit you this present. This button right here. We going right here for the five quarts. Dollar signs. Frank Miller was born January 27, 1957, is an American comic book artist, comic book writer, and screenwriter known for his comic book stories and graphic novels, such as his run on Daredevil, one of my favorite characters, and for which he credited the character Elektra, and subsequently Daredevil, Born Again, The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Sin City, and 300, all bomb comics. And Miller is noted for combining film, noir, and manga influences in his comic art creations. He said, I realized when I started Sin City that I found American and English comics to be too wordy, too constipated, constipated, and Japanese comics to be too empty. So I was emptying, attempted to do a hybrid. Miller has received every major comic book industry award, and in 2015 he was inducted into the Wild Eisner Award Hall of Fame. Miller's feature film work included writing the scripts for the 1990s science fiction films RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3, sharing directing duties with Robert Rodriguez. Shout out to him, the OG Robert Rodriguez. Shout out to my man, Rob. Shout out to Robert Rodriguez. That name sounds familiar, but I ain't gonna hit it just yet. On Sin City and Sin City, the Dame, a Dame to Kill for, producing the film 300 and directing the big screen adaptation of The Spirit. Sin City earned a Academy Award nomination. Of course, he's born in Allen, Maryland. Writer, pencil, Inca film director, notable works: The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Daredevil, Electro, Wolverine, and Ronin. 300, Sin City Curse. Ronin is pretty dope too. Early life. Miller was born at Albany, Maryland on January 27, 1957, and raised in Montpelier, Vermont. The fifth of seven children of a nurse mother and a carpenter slash electrician father. His family was Irish Catholic. Shout out to them. Career. Miller grew up a comic book. Miller grew up a comics fan. A letter he wrote to Marvel Comics was published in the Cat number 3, April 1973. His first published work was at Western Publishing Gold Key Comics imprint, received at the recommendation of comics artist Neil Adams, to whom a fledgling Miller, after moving to New York City, had shown samples and receiving much critique and occasional information lessons. Though no published credits appear, he is tentatively credited with the three-page story of Royal Feast and the licensed TV series comic book The Twilight Zone number 84. June 1978 by an unknown writer, and is credited with the five-page Endless Cloud, also by an unknown writer in the following issues. July 1978, By the time of the latter, Miller had his first confirmed credit in writer Riot Garin, 6 page Deliver Me from D-Day, inked by Danny Balalandi in Weird War Tales number 64, June 1978. Former Marvel editor-in-chief Jim Shooter recalled Miller going to DC Comics after having broken in with a small job from Western Publishing. I think just in model, he went to DC and after getting Savage by Joe Orlando, got in to see art director Vinny Galita, who recognized talent and arranged for him to get a page war comic job. The Grand Comics database does not list this job. There may have been a one-page DC story a shooter may have misremembered the page count or have been referring to the two-page story by writer Robert McKenzie, shout out to him, as slowly, painfully you dig your way from the cold, choking debris of Weird War Tales number 68, October 1978. Other Fledgling work at DC, including the 6 page Greatest Story Never Told by writer Paul Kupperberg, in that same issues in the 5 page Edge of History, written by Elliot S. Magan, and Unknown Soldier number 219, September 1978. His first work for Marvel Comics was penciling the 17 page story The Master Assassin of Mars, Part 3, and John Carter Warlord of Mars number 18, November 1978. At Marvel, Miller settled in as a regular fill-in and cover artist working on a variety of titles. One of these jobs was drawing Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, numbers 27 to 28, February, March 1979, which guest starred Daredevil, my homeboy, one of my favorite characters. I freaks him, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Punisher. Two of my favorite low-level heroes. Well, not low-level, but they don't always fight extra-dimensional threats. They fight street-level threats. I meant to say. But then my top three, in Moon Knight and Ghost Rider and Blade, be honorable mentions. At the time, sales of Daredevil were titled Pull, but Miller saw potential in a blind protagonist in a purely visual medium. As he recalled in 2000, Miller went to writer and staffer Joe Duffy, a mentor figure whom he called his guardian angel at Marvel, and he passed on his interest to editor-in-chief Jim Shooter to get Miller work on Daredevil's regular title. Shooter agreed and made Miller the new penciler on the title, as Miller recalled in 2008. When I first showed up in New York, I showed up with a bunch of comics and a bunch of samples of guys in trench coats and old cars and such, and comics editors said, "Where are the guys in tights?" And I had to learn how to do it. But as soon as the title came along with Daredevil signature artist Gene Colan left Daredevil, I realized it was my secret and to do crime comics with a superhero in them. And so I lobbied for the title and got it. Daredevil in early 1980s. Daredevil number 158, May 1979. Miller's debut on the title was the finale of an ongoing story written by Roger McKenzie and inked by Klaus Johnson. After this issue, Miller became one of the Marvel's rising stars. However, sales on Daredevil did not improve. Marvel's management continued to discuss cancellation, and Miller, all right, here we go, himself almost quit the series as he did dislike Mackenzie's scripts. Miller's fortunes changed with the arrival of Danny O'Neil. Shout out to the OG. As editor, realizing Miller's unhappiness with the series and pressed by a backup story, Miller had written O'Neil move Mackenzie to another project so that Miller could try writing the series himself. Miller and O'Neil maintained a friendly working relationship throughout his run on the series. With issues number 168, January 1981, Miller took over full duties as writer and penciler. Sales rose so swiftly that Marvel once again began publishing Daredevil monthly rather than being bi-monthly, basically every 2 months. So they did it 1 month. Cool. Just 3 issues after Miller became its writer, issue number 168 saw the first full appearance of the Ninja Mercenary, one of my other favorite characters, Elektra. But Bullseye, my favorite villain too. who became a popular character and star in 2005 motion picture. Although her first cover appearance was 4 months earlier on Miller's cover of the Comics Journal number 58, Miller later wrote and drew a solo Elektra story in Bizarre Adventures number 28, October 1981. He added a martial arts aspect to Daredevil's fighting skills and introduced previously unseen characters who had played a major part in the character's youth. Stick, leader of the ninja clan Chester, who had been Murdoch's sensei after he was blinded in the rival clan, the Hand. I think the Hand is probably as deadly as independent comics of the Foot Clan, Foot Soldiers, or Foot Clan and Ninja Turtles. Unable to handle both writing and penciling Daredevil on the new monthly schedule, Miller began increasingly relying on Janson for the artwork, sending him looser pencils, beginning with number 173. By issue number 185, Miller had virtually relinquished his role as Daredevil artist, and he was providing only rough layouts for Johnson in both pencil and ink, allowing Miller to focus on the writing. Miller's work on Daredevil was characterized by darker themes and stories. I like darker themes and stories because life ain't always happy, so I like them kind of stories in comics. Hence why I like Spawn also. Check out yesterday's video. And characterized and peaked and when in number 181, April 1982, he had the assassin Bullseye kill Elektra, and Daredevil subsequently attempt to kill him. Miller finished his Daredevil run. There we go. In issue number 191, February 1983, which he cited in a winter 1983 interview as the issue he is most proud of. By this time, he had transformed secondary character into one of Marvel's most popular. Additionally, Miller drew a short Batman Christmas story, Wanted Santa Claus Dead or Alive, written by Dennis O'Neil from DC Special Series number 21, spring 1980. This was his first professional experience with a character with which, like Daredevil, he became closely associated. At Marvel, O'Neil and Miller collaborated on 2 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man Annual. The 1981 annual featured a team up with Doctor Strange, my boy. Why 1981 also showcased a meeting with the Punisher. Yay. A penciler and co-plotter, Miller, together with the writer Chris Claremont, produced the miniseries Wolverine number 1 through 4, December 1982. Joseph Rubinstein, and spinning off from the popular X-Men title. Miller used this miniseries to expand on Wolverine's character. The series was a critical success and further cemented Miller's place as an industry star with his first creator-owned title was DC Comics' 6-issue miniseries running 1983 to 1984. In 1985, DC Comics named Miller as one of the honorees in the company's 5th anniversary. Filthy who made DC great. 50 who made DC great. Miller was involved in a few unpublished projects in the early 1980s. A house advertisement for Doctor Strange appeared in Marvel Comics cover dated February 1981. It stated, "Watch for the new adventure of Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, a mystically conjured by Roger Stern." And Frank Miller. Miller's only contribution to the series was the cover of for Doctor Strange number 46, April 1981. Other commitments prevented him from working on the series. Miller and Steve Gerber made the proposal to revamp DC's 3 biggest characters, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, under a line called Metropolis. That you see in comics titled Man of Steel, or the Man of Steel, Dark Knight, and Amazon. No, that's Amazon. Here we go. However, this proposal was not accepted. Yeah. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, one of my favorite series in the comics, and I like the 2012 movie. with Kristen Bell as Batman and Tom Hardy as Burn. Batman, which one will break first, the man or the spirit? Had to do that impersonation on y'all. In 1986, DC Comics released the Writer Pencils Miller's Batman The Dark Knight Returns, a four-issue miniseries printed in what the publisher called prestige format, square bound rather than stapled, on heavy stock paper rather than newsprint, and with cardstock rather than glossy paper covers. It was linked by Claus Johnson and colored by Lynn Valley. The story tells how Batman retired after the death of the second Robin, Jason Todd. At age 55, returns to fight crime and dark in a dark and violent future. Miller created a tough, gritty Batman, referred to him as the Dark Knight, based upon being called the Dark Knight Detective in some 1970s portrayal. Although the nickname Dark Knight for Batman dates back to 1940, released the same year as Alan Moore's and Dave Gibbons' DC miniseries Watchmen, it showcased a new form of more adult-oriented storytelling to both comics fans and a crossover mainstream audience. The Dark Knight Returns influenced the comic book industry by harnessing a new wave of darker characters. The trade paperback collection proved to be a big seller for DC and remains in print. By this time, Miller had returned as a writer of Daredevil following his self-contained story Badlands, penciled by John Buscema in number 2009. I mean, no, number 219. I mean, June 1985. He co-wrote number 226, January 1986, with departed writer Dennis O'Neil, then with artist David Mazzucchelli. He must be Italian. He crafted a seven-issue story arc that like the Dark Knight Returns, similarly redefined and revigorated its main character, the storyline, Daredevil Born Again, and number 227 to 233, February, August 1986, chronicled the hero's Catholic background and the destruction and rebirth of his real life identity, Manhattan. Attorney Mac Murdock, at the hands of Daredevil nemesis, the crime lord Wilson Fisk, also known as the Kingpin, one of my top favorite non-superpower villains, I'll tell you that. After completing the Born Again arc, Frank Miller intended to produce a two-part story with artist Walt Simonson. Yeah, Simonson. Shout out to him. Yeah, yeah. But it was never completed and remains unpublished. Miller and artist Bill Shanakovics, he must be German. That might be a German name. Produced the graphic novel Daredevil Love and Woe. I might check that one out. In 1986, featuring the character of the Kingpin, it indirectly bridges Miller's first run on Daredevil and Born Again by explaining the change in the Kingpin's attitude towards Daredevil. Miller and Shanakovics also produced the eight-issue miniseries Elektra Assassin for Epic Comics. Set outside regular Marvel continually, it featured the wild tale of cyborgs and ninjas. One of my favorite combinations. Cyborgs and ninjas. Can't beat that. While expanding further on Elektra's background, both of these projects were critically well received. Elektra Assassin was praised for its bold storytelling, but neither it nor Daredevil Love and War had the influence or reached as many readers as Dark Knight Returns or Born Again. Miller's final major story in the period was in Batman issue 404 to 407 in 1987. Another collaboration with Mazzucchelli titled Batman Year One. I think I might have, I don't know if I really heard about that one, but I might check that out. Well, yeah, Deep Batman, I know that was considered Year One, that movie. But I check out the comic. This was Miller's version of the origin of Batman, in which he reconnected many details and adapted the story to fit the Dark Knight continuity, proving to be hugely popular and was influential as Miller's previous work. The trade paperback release in 1988 remains in print and is one of DC's best-selling comics best-selling books. The story was adapted as an original animated film video in 2011. Miller illustrated the covers for the first 12 issues of First Comics English language reprints of Kazu Koki and Kazaki Kizamori, Lone Wolf and Cub. This helped bring Japanese manga to a wider Western audience during this time. Miller, along with Marv Wolfman, I like that name already, Alan Moore, and Howard Chaykin had been in dispute with DC Comics over a proposed rating system for comics disagreeing with what he saw as censorship. Censorship. Will refused to do any further work for DC. He took his future projects to the independent publisher Dark Horse Comics, which gave us Hellboy, The Mask, and I think Head, something like that. Whatever that third character was called. He gave us R.I.P.D., which produced a great movie with Ryan Reynolds and I forgot the other guy. But yeah, Dark Horse Comics formed then. Miller was a major supporter of creator rights and became a major voice against censorship in comics. Salute. I tip my hat off to Frank Miller for that, as well as all the other things he did. Yeah, boy, here we go. The 1990s when I was born. The 1990s Sin City and 300. After announcing he intended to release his work only via the independent publisher Dark Horse Comics, Miller completed one final project. For Epic Comics, the mature audience imprint of Marvel Comics, Elektra Lives Again was a fully painted graphic novel written and drawn by Miller and colored by longtime partner Lynn Varley, telling the story of the resurrection of Elektra from the dead and Daredevil's quest to find her, as well as showing Miller's will to experiment a new storytelling techniques. 1990 saw Miller and artist Jerome Daru, shout out to him, might be Giraffe Dara. Start work on Hard Boiled, a three-issue miniseries. The title, a mix of violence and satire, was praised for Darrow's highly detailed art and Miller's writing. At the same time, Miller and artist Dave Gibbons produced Give Me Liberty, a four-issue miniseries for Dark Horse. Give Me Liberty was followed by sequel miniseries and specials expanding on the story of a protagonist, Martha Washington, an African American woman in modern near future North America, all of which were written by Miller and drawn by Gibbons. Heck yeah, that sounds dope. I'm gonna check that out. Miller wrote the scripts for the science fiction films Robocop 2, two of my favorite films, and Robocop 3. About Police Cyborg, neither was critically well received. In 2007, Miller stated that there was a lot of interference in the writing process. It wasn't ideal after working on two Robocop movies. I really thought that was it for me in the business of film. Miller came into contact with the fictional cyborg once more, writing the comic book miniseries RoboCop vs. the Terminator. I think I heard about that before, but I never really read the comic. Might have to read it out, or even buy it and sell. That probably worth a lot of money if RoboCop vs. Terminator. But me, I put my money on RoboCop because he got more weapons. Terminator only carry a gun. RoboCop got that cannon. He got that special gun to come out his leg. So, RoboCop probably got some extra weaponry. And I think he had a backpack or something, jetpack before. Maybe on RoboCop 3. So, yeah, I put my money on RoboCop in that fight. With the art by Walter Simonson. In 2003, Miller's screenplay for RoboCop 2 was adapted by Stephen Grant for Avatar Press, Postal and Print, illustrated by John Jose Rapp. The series is called Frank Miller's RoboCop and contains plot elements that were divided between RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. This is the genius of Frank Miller. I like this guy. One of my favorites. That's Time of Fall. Him, Frank Miller, Time of Fall, and Stan Lee. In 1991, Miller stated work on his first Sin City story, serialized, and Dark Horse presents number 51 to 62. It proved to be another success, and the story was released in a trade paperback. Period, players. This first Sin City yarn was released in 1995 under the name The Hard Goodbye. Sin City proved to be Miller's main project for much of the remainder of the decade. As Miller told more Sin City stories within this noir world of his creation, in the process helping to revitalize the crime comics genre. Sin City proved artistically auspicious for Miller and again brought his work to a wider audience without comics. Miller lived in Los Angeles, California in the 1990s, which influenced Sin City. He later lived in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood of New York City. Shout out to Los Angeles, California, and shout out to Hell's Kitchen, New York City, which was also an influence. Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, was a five-issue miniseries published by Marvel Comics in 1993. In the story, Miller and artist John Romita, shout out to John Romita Jr., one of my favorite artists too, and shout out to his father, John Romita Sr., who do some dope classical artwork. Might do a video on them. I don't know, fans. We have to see. Told Daredevil's origins differently from in the previous comics, and they provided additional detail to his beginnings. Miller also returned to the superheroes by writing number 11 of Todd McFarlane's Spawn, as well as Spawn slash Batman crossover for him. So that answered my question from yesterday. I was wondering, did like Frank Miller and DC do the Spawn parts, and did Todd McFarlane and them probably Greg Salopo. No, Greg Salopo went out that time. I forgot the Asian guy name. Did they do the parts for the spy? The only one that did Frank Miller to do the writing and stuff for the Batman part. So I wanted it, Tom Farley to write for Spawn parts. I don't know, but that's answered my question that I asked yesterday on yesterday's video. The crossover for Image Comics, one of the best crossovers ever. In 1994, Miller became one of the founding members of the Comic and Print Legends, under which many of his Sin City works were released via Dark Horse Comics. Yep. In 1995, Miller and Darrow collaborated again on Big Guy and Rusty. That's my stuff. I remember that cartoon. I didn't know it was a comic book first. On Big Guy and Rusty, the Boy Robot, published as a two-part miniseries by Dark Horse. In 1999, it became an animated series on Fox Kids. I remember that. So that was 99. I was 8 years old when that came out. Written and illustrated by Miller and painted colors by Varley. 300 was a 1998 comic book miniseries released as a hardcover collection in 1999, retelling the Battle of Thermopylae, I think. I'm going to say Thermopylae, that sounds better. And the events leading up to it from the perspective of Leonidas, one of my favorite characters. Of Sparta. 300 was particularly inspired by the 1962 film The 300 Spartans. I remember that film, and plus 300. A movie that Miller watched as a young boy. Batman The Dark Knight Strikes Again in 2019. He was one of the artists on the Superman Batman World's Funniest one shot written by Evan Dorkin. Published in 2000. Miller moved back to Hell's Kitchen by 2001 and was creating Batman The Dark Knight Strikes Again as the 9/11 terrorist attacks occurred about 4 miles from that neighborhood. His differences from DC Comics put aside, he saw the sequel initially released as a 3-issue miniseries, and though it sold well, it received a mix of negative reception. Miller also returned to writing Batman in 2005, taking on the writing duties of All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder. The series set inside with what Matt Miller describes as the Dark Knight universe and drawn by Jim Lee. All-Star Batman and Robin, Boy Wonder also received largely negative reviews. Dang, that sucked. Miller's previous attitude towards movie adaptations was to change after Robert Rodriguez made a short film based on the story from Miller's Sin City entitled The Customer Is Always Right. Miller was pleased with the results, leading to him and Rodriguez directing a full-length film Sin City using Miller's original comics panels as storyboards. The film was released in the US on April 1st, 2005. The film's success brought renewed attention to Miller's Sin City project. Similar as 2006 film adaptation of 300 by director Jack Snyder. Shout out to Jack Snyder. Jack Snyder, pretty cool. Brought new attention to Miller's original comic book work. A sequel to the film Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, based on Miller's second Sin City series and co-directed by Miller and Robert Rodriguez, was released in theaters August 22nd, 2014. In July 2011, while at San Diego Comic Con promoting his upcoming graphic novel Holy Terror, in which the protagonist hero fights Al Qaeda terrorists, Miller made a remark about Islamic terrorism and Islam, saying, "I was raised Catholic and I could tell you a lot about the Spanish Inquisition, but the mysteries of the Catholic Church elude me, and I could tell you a lot about Al Qaeda, but the mysteries of Islam elude me too." In November 2011, Miller posted remarks partially to the Occupy Wall Street movement on his blog, calling it nothing but a pack of louts, thieves and rapists, fed by Woodstock era nostalgia and future false righteousness. He said of the movement, "Wake up, pawn scum. America is at war against a ruthless enemy, maybe between bouts of self pity, all the other tasty tidbits of narcissism. You've been served up in your shelter, comfy little worlds. You've heard terms like Al Qaeda and Islamicism." Miller's statement was criticized by fellow comic writer Alan Moore in a 2018 interview. Miller backed away from his comments, saying that he wasn't thinking clearly when he made them and allude to a very dark time in his life during which they were made. On July 10th, 2015, at the San Diego Comic Con, Miller was inducted into the Eisner Awards Hall of Fame. From 2015 to 2017, DC released a 9-issue bi-monthly sequel to The Dark Knight Returns and The Dark Knight Strikes Again, titled The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. Booyah, Part 3. Miller co-wrote it with Brian Azzarello, he must be Italian, and Andy Kubert and Klaus Janson, where the artist issue one was the top-selling comic of November 2015, moving to estimate 44,200, 442,000, 440 copies. There we go. In 2016, Miller and Azzurro also co-wrote the graphic novel The Dark Knight Return, Last Crusade, with art by John Romita Jr., my boy again, and Peter Stuyvesant. Shout out to the OGs. From April to August 2018, Dark Horses published monthly Miller's 5-issue miniseries, sequel to T300, Xerxes, The Fall of the House of Darius, and the Rise of Alexander, which marked his first work as both writer and artist comics creation since Holy Terror. In 2017, Miller announced he was writing the Superman Year One project with artwork by John Romita Jr. The 3-issue series was released by DC Black Label from June to October 2019 and received mixed reviews. Simon and Schuster Children Publishing published his and Arthur Tom Wheeler's young adult novel, Cursed, about the King Arthur legend from the point of view of the Lady of the Lake. In October 2019, in December 2019, DC released Dark Knight Returns, the Golden Child 5th series, and the Dark Knight Returns universe mixed reviews. It is written by Miller and artwork by Raphael Grampa. The 2020s. In July 2020, Netflix released a 10-episode series based on Curse, with Miller and Wheeler serving as both creators and executive producers. Frank Miller Presents. On April 28, 2022, it was reported that Miller was launching an American comic book publishing company titled Frank Miller Presents, or FPM or FMP. Miller will act as the company's president editor-in-chief working alongside Dan Didio as publisher-in-chief. Operating officer Salon Thompson, FMP, expects to produce 2 and 4 titles per year, with Miller's initial contributions to include Sin City 1858 and Ronin Book 2. That's the jam. I fixed that Ronin book. I ain't read that many Sin Cities, but I remember the movie. I ain't watched Sex in the City movie. But Adventure Series produced together with the Kubert School that Miller described as looking like a children's book, but it's also a dark fairy tale. Legal issues. In October 2019, Jonah Gallardo Mills, who began working for Miller as an executive coordinator in November 2008, filed suit against Miller in Manhattan for discrimination and mental anguish, stating that Miller's former girlfriend, Kimberly Cox, created a hostile work environment for Gallardo Mills and Miller's and Cox Hill's kitchen, living, and workspace. In July 2020, producer Stephen L. Hurricks, who worked on Sin City, A Dime to Kill For, filed a $25 million defamation and economic interference lawsuit against Miller and fellow producer Celine Thompson. L. Hurricks alleged the pair had repeatedly made false, misleading, and defamatory statements about L. Hurricks' ownership of the developmental rights of Sin City, heard in hard boil to Skydance Media CEO David Allison and other Skydance executives, and preventing the creation of a film adaptation of Hard Boiled and a TV series based on Sin City. Miller's attorney Alan Grassi denied the allegations, stating that claims asserted in Mrs. Lurik's lawsuit are baseless, and we will be aggressively defending this lawsuit. Personal life. Miller was married to colorist Leon Varley from 1986 to 2005, and she colored many of his most acclaimed works from Ronin to 1984 through 300 in 1998, and the backgrounds to the 2006 movie 300. Miller has been romantically linked to New York-based Shakespearean scholar Kimberly Halliburton Cox, who had the cameo in The Spirit 2008, another one of my favorite movies. With Samuel Jackson playing the villain. I have ate of everything. You gotta watch the movie to get that reference. In response to claims of his comments are conservative, Miller said, "I'm not a conservative, I am a libertarian." Style and influence, one of my favorite parts of this. Although still conforming to traditional comic book styles, Miller infused his first issue of Daredevil with his own film noir style. Miller sketched the roofs of New York in an attempt to give his Daredevil art an authentic feel not commonly seen in superhero comics at the time. One journalist committed Daredevil New York under Frank's run became darker and more dangerous than the Spider-Man New York he seemingly lived in before. New York City itself, particularly Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen neighborhood, became as much as a character as the shadowy crime fighter. These stories often took place on the rooftop level with water towers, pipes, and chimneys jutting out to create a skyline and reminiscence of German expressionism, dramatic edges, and shadows. Ronin shows some of the strongest influences of manga and Bandi Decini, whatever that is. I know what manga is. I never heard the style of Bandi Decini. I might check that out. On Miller's style, both in the artwork and narrative style, Sin City was drawn in black and white to emphasize in film noir origins. And I think black and white was cheap because color add extra price. But I think black and white was like the cheapest style to do back in them times. And I'm assuming still now. Just a little notes for y'all, comic book guys. And just a little notes for you now, comic book guys. Film noir origins. Miller said he opposes naturalism in comic arts. People are attempted to bring a superficial reality to superheroes, which is rather stupid. They work best as the flamboyant fantasies they are. I mean, these are characters that are broad and big. I don't need to see sweat patches on Superman's arm. I want to see him fly. Considers the Argentinian comic book artist Alberto Breccia, yeah, that's how I say it, as one of his personal mentors, ever declaring that regarding modernity in comics, it all started with Breccia in the same regard. Miller's work in Sin City has been analyzed by South American writers and artists, as well as European critics like Yaxx, YEXUS. Y'all might not know how to spell it, people in the crowd and audience. As being based and inspired by Brazil's groundbreaking style, especially regarding the latter's Caracas, however you want to say it, and strong use of stark black and white technique, which I like that technique too, because I think the original Ninja Turtles from the old school comics did that dark and like it had no color to the comics at that time. And the original Ninja Turtles was darker and edgier than what you see in the comic books now. No, you still see it. Let me phrase that. Daredevil, Born Again, and The Dark Knight Returns were both critical success and influential on subsequently generations of creators to the point of being considered classics in the medium. Batman Year One was also met with praise for its gritty style, while comics included Ronin 300 and Sin City were also successful, centering Miller's place as a legend of comic books. However, later materials such as Batman, The Dark Knight Strikes Again received mixed reviews. In particular, All Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder was widely considered a sign of Miller's creative decline. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. Fellow comic book writer Alan Moore has described Miller's work from Sin City onward to as homophobic and misogynistic. Basically saying he don't like gays, and I think saying misogynistic might be over sexual. Allegedly. Now I ain't saying that's my opinion. I don't think Frank Miller had that attention. Despite praising his early Batman and Daredevil material, Moore previously penned a flattering introduction to an early collective edition of The Dark Knight Returns, and the two have remained friends. Moore has praised Miller's realistic use of minimal dialogue and fight scenes, which move very fast, flowing from image to image with the speed of a real life conflict, unimpeded by the reader having to stop to read a lot of accompanying text. Miller graphic novel Holy Terror was accused of being anti-Islamic. Miller later said he regretted the terror, saying, "I don't want to wipe out chapters of my own biography, but I'm not capable of that book again." Miller's film adaptation of Sin City was well received, which is a good movie. I like Sin City. One of my top favorite comic book movies is Spawn, Steel, Meteor, no, Spider Man, no, Blade, Punisher, 2005. Punisher 2004, and Ghostwriter 2007. And capable comic book again. Miller's film adaptation of Sin City was well received by audience and critics. On the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 77% based on 254 reviews, with an average rating of 7.50/10. The website's critical consensus read visually groundbreaking and terrifically violent. Sin City brings a dark world of Frank Miller's graphic novel to vivid life. His 2008 adaptation of The Spirit received a generally negative reviews. I know Rotten Tomatoes, you gotta make sure you got your movies good. Shout out to Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes pretty good. They do pretty decent, I think. Yeah, like what they rank a movie and stuff. Awards and nominations. The Inkpot Awards received the Inkpot Awards in 1981. Kirby Awards. Shout out to Jack Kirby, the late great Jack Kirby, who did a lot of good writing. I think he did some Fantastic Four, maybe some Spider Man, and maybe some Daredevil. No, I think he did Superman before. I don't remember all what Jack Kirby did, but he got his name in a lot of good comic book writing. Best single issue 1986 Daredevil number 227 Apocalypse Marvel. 1987 Batman The Dark Knight Returns number 1 The Dark Knight Returns DC. Best writer slash artist single team 1986 Frank Miller and David Mascalelli for Daredevil Born Again Marvel. Best graphic album 1987 Batman The Dark Knight Returns DC. The best art team 1987 Frank Miller, Klaus Johnson, and Lynn Verley for Batman The Dark Knight Returns. The Eisner Awards. Good. All right, here we go. Best writer slash artist 1991 for Electra Lives Again, Marvel 1993 for Sin City, Dark Horse 1999 for 300, Dark Horse. Best graphic album New 1991, Electra Lives Again, Marvel. Best Finite series slash limited series. 1991, Give Me Liberty, Dark Horse. 1995, Sin City, A Dame to Kill for Dark Horse slash Legend. 1996, Sin City, The Big Fat Kill, Dark Horse slash Legend. 1999, 300, Dark Horse, Best Graphic Album Reprint. 1993, Sin City, Dark Horse. 1998, Sin City, The Yellow Bastard, Dark Horse. Best artist pencil anchor or penciler slash anchor team 1993 for Sin City Dark Horse. Best short story 1995 The Babe Wore Red and Sin City The Babe Wore Red and Other Stories Dark Horse slash Legend. Eisner Awards Hall of Fame 2015 Harvey Awards Best Continuing Limited Series 1996 Sin City Dark Horse 1999 300 Dark Horse Best Graphic Album of Original Work 1998 Sin City Family Values Dark Horse Best Domestic Reprint Project 1997 Batman The Dark Knight Returns 10th Anniversary Edition DC. Oh, here we go. This brother. Shout out to Frank Miller. This brother wasn't playing. He was killing the awards, even though they might have had a complaint about the decline of some of his artwork and stuff, but he still got them awards. Let that sink in. Eagle Awards. Shout out to my Philadelphia Eagles and shout out to Philly in general. Favorite comic book pencil artist 1983. Favorite comic book writer US 1986. Role of Honor 1987. Favorite comic book pencil artist 1987. Favorite comic book album US 1987. Batman The Dark Knight Returns DC. Favorite color US 1987. Batman The Dark Knight Returns number 1 DC. Favorite comic album US 1988. Daredevil Love and War DC. Well, no, Daredevil Marvel. That's probably a misprint right there. Favorite black and white comic book 2000 Hell and Back, a Sensei Love Story, Dark Horse. Favorite comic book, hold on. Favorite comics writer slash artist 2002. Favorite comics related book 2006 Eisner slash Miller, Dark Horse. Favorite comics writer slash artist 2012 the UK Comic Comic Art Award. Best Original Graphic Novel slash One Shot 1991. Electra Lives Again. Epic Comics. Best Writer slash Artist 1992. Best Writer slash Artist 1993. Best Graphic Novel Collection 1993. Sin City. Best Writer slash Artist 1994. Cannes for 1994. Cannes Film Festival. Palme d'Or 2005 nominated Sin City Dimensions Films. Scream Awards, the Comic Con Icon Awards 2006, Bibliography. Good. Dang, this is a lot. I ain't gonna read the whole thing. That's a lot of info. DC Comics, Weird War Tales, Deliver Me from D-Day, Wyatt Griner, number 64, 1978. The Greatest Story Never Told with Paul Kuppenberg, number 68, 1978. A Day After Doomsday with Roger McKinnon, and number 68, 1978. Unknown Soldiers, number 2009, no, hold up, number 219, I mean. Edge of History, Elliot S. Morgan, 1978. Batman, The Greatest Story Ever Told, Volume 1, TP, 192 pages, 2005. Includes DC Special Series 21 Wanted. Artist with Dennis O'Neil, 1979. Absolute Dark Knight, good. Dark Knight 8C, 212 pages, 2006. ISBN 400 collects Comic Book Dark Knight Returns with a WA 1986, 1980. '86, Batman: The Dark Knight Strikes Again, WA 2001, and The Dark Knight 3, Master Race with Brian Azzarello and Andy Kubert 2015 to 2017. The rest of it, y'all could probably like read up on your own free will. That's a lot of info. All right, here we go. We're gonna end it with filmography, films, year, title, director, screenwriter, executive producer, actor, role, and notes. Then television, years, title, creator, executive producer, actor, role, and notes. Here we go. 1990, RoboCop 2. No, yes, no, uncredited, Frank the Chemist. 1993, RoboCop 3. No, yes, no. 1994, Juggler. Wine, A Vampire Odyssey. No, 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 yes, Frank Miller. 2003, Daredevil. No, 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 yes, Man with Pen and Head. Also inspired by his graphic novels. Basically, his role was a man with a pen in his head. Probably one that got killed by a bullseye, most likely. 2005, Sin City. Yes, uncredited. No, yes, The Priest. Also based on his graphic novel, co-directed by Robert Rodriguez. Shout out to Robert Rodriguez once again. 2006, 300. No, no, yes, no. Also based on his graphic novels. 2008, The Spirit. Yes, yes, no, yes. Liberals. 2014, 300. Rise of an Empire. No, no, yes, no. Also based on his graphic novels. 2014, also Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Yes, yes, yes. Uncredited Sam. Also based on his graphic novels, co-directed with Robert Rodriguez. Television year, title creator, executive producer, actor, role, and notes. 2020, Curse. Yes, yes, yes. Brother Hordy. Based on his novel, TBA, Cortez, Matez. Yes, yes, no. Based on the Hugo Pratt novel. So now I can see who's in the comments. How you doing today? Thank you, random woman. Appreciate the love. I feel better, man. I feel better, woman. Yeah, feel good to have a new camera. We came so far from the new camera, from the old microphone to a new microphone, from an old microphone to a new headset, to a newer headset, to the newer microphone. I ain't using it right now, but I like the microphone it is. The Logic 4K with all the perks to it. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. It makes everything look better and make me feel more confident as a content creator. And it's doggone good, worth the money. Shout out to Rainy Woman, go check her out. And shout out to all my supporters. But yeah, we're gonna end this with giving props to Frank Miller. Let's give the man his flowers right here with us. He gave us us 90s babies and the 80s babies, they best content. But from my point of view, here we go. He one of my favorite ones. He killed that man. He's a beast with that doggone Daredevil. I ain't take away from the artist before or after him. They did great with Daredevil. God bless him. But his was precise and concise the way I like it. And still iconic to this day. You know, I remember like being introduced to it in like the 2000 issue of Wizard magazine. And man, that's still an iconic cover. Let me see. Can we look at? But yeah, so all right, here we go. That's the one that's dope too. But this one, my favorite one right there. I freaks with that. Like I said, I love the artist before then, but he just has a special place in my heart as a Daredevil artist, and his Batman was on point too. I don't know if this Frank Miller, but yeah, man, he killed it. Album designs were good, but like I said, this is my most favorite one. That's always gonna be in my memory bank, even on Green. Of course, the Daredevil movie. Of course, this is Frank Miller now in his older years. Well, his wise years. I ain't gonna say older. Mm. Yeah, man, just something that his artwork is amazing. Let me see who else we got. Oh, let me get that 300. Shoot, shoot, shoot. There we go. 300 was dope too. The movie and not comic book. All right, man. Okay, hold up. But yeah, I freaks that 300. His Batman run was good. But I know the Daredevil run a lot more than the Batman. And it's 300. I don't know much about the comics like that, but I remember the movie a lot more. Sin City, I remember bits pieces of the comics, but I remember the movie a lot more. But to make the add on to that, what I learned being a comic book fan, if you ever realize why certain artists do the colors, because the inking and stuff it costs a little extra, so you don't want to like overuse the money because you still got to pay your artists and stuff. So a lot of artists realize it's cheaper to use the clear black and white or either the gray colors, which I can understand that, especially for independent companies. So it's a lot cheaper, like if you do the black and white art, and plus it leave a lot more to imagination. But I still like the color art too. Let me end it with watching some of this 300 artwork. 300 movie so good it got a sequel and it got a parody. Meet the Spartans. Scratch my leg on that. Over there. That's the one I like too. I like the great. He did do something different. This is unique. The actor played King Xerxes killed that role. Here's scenes from the movie. Boom, yeah. Boom, yeah. This the one too. So salute. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and thank y'all for the 49 views. Probably went up on yesterday's video with 2 days ago video now. Hi, Wild Time of Fallen Influence Me. Let's get that video 1,000 views and let's start getting me up 1,000 views and up. But yeah, let's break a record with that. It's kind of like when we're gonna speak this into this right now. So when the Time of Fallen film get 1,000 views, then we're gonna go up to 2,000. We're gonna go 3,000. We're gonna go to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. But yeah, this will be the second video. When that happens, that'll be the second video that had 1,000 views. Then we go ain't no place but to go but up. Remember, John 3:16, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And we out. Until next time, keep it stinky. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Got the outro players and play, yeah.